into the sun. Oh gosh, I'm gonna cry. Welcome back, fanboys and fangirls of the world. My name is Mario, and we are back today in our lovely fanboy corner to celebrate BTS 13th anniversary. Army, today is such a special day. I feel absolutely overwhelmed right now, and I'm not sad. On the contrary, I'm full of love, but I'm feeling so emotional. I just came back from the cinema to see BTS on Busan. I'm just not processing the next concert is my concert, Madrid Night 1 and then Madrid Night 2. I just honestly can't even speak properly, but I am fine. Sorry for my lower tone. It's just this video is such a special moment for me, and I just don't feel like being super energetic because I just want to talk about BTS. I just want to do this little chat because I need to celebrate them every single day of my life, especially today that it's been 13 years since they debuted. I cannot believe anything. I cannot believe that I'm seeing them. I cannot believe how much I enjoyed the movie again. I just cannot believe everything that I'm gonna talk about regarding them, regarding why they are who they are, why we love BTS so much, and why it's so special that we are here today with them all together. It's just such a mix of emotions, so sorry if I get a little bit emotional today because this is the vibe. We're going to go through several reasons why I believe that BTS is probably the biggest group nowadays and arguably ever in sense of boy bands, why they transcended generation, countries, music genres, and why they have the biggest fandom ever, why BTS is BTS, and why they make me feel the way I'm feeling right now. And not only me, but also all of us. So let's just get started with this. I hope that you enjoy this little present that I'm doing for the boys. And if you start to like my content, if you enjoy my company, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss anything that I will put out on the future. Family Corner is such a safe place for ARMY, for BTS. We love BTS so much here. I am so proud to say that they are my artists, that I am their fan, and that I'm lucky enough to live in the same time as them. You can let me know in the comments, why do you think BTS is so special? Why is it so special to you? And if you think there's any other reason that I did not mention of how they managed to become who they have become. I want to start talking about the most important thing at the end of the day, because they give us so many things that sometimes it's easy to forget why we are here. And of course, the main reason is the music. BTS is one of the most talented artists as a collective, as individuals that I've ever seen, but they also make such great music. Like, their discography, it's outstanding. I already did a video ranking on my personal opinion the albums. You can check that out. And on that video, I talked about how every single of their albums feels unique. They have such a deep connection with themselves, with the lyrics, with the concept. They complement each other so well, the voices and the rap, and they are true to their persona. They put their souls and efforts to the music, and you can see that. It's not only music for the sake of being music. They are telling us stories, they are showing us their music taste, and it's just so relatable. They have such a perfect balance of different types of music, ballads, bops, hard raps. Like, it's impossible for someone to not like at least one BTS song. That's what I think that truly can pull us in. If people were to broke their judgment, sometimes they would realize that they have such an outstanding discography that it's worth listening to. And of course, that would not be enough if it weren't because we also have such a deep connection with them as people, not only artists. BTS, it's not a product. People may think that way from the outset, but when you get into them, you realize that they are a journey. We grew up with BTS, we knew them since they were young, and even if you knew them later, just like I did, you can still discover their journey, how they mature, how they learn, how they were so vulnerable, they were not afraid to show their true selves. You're not alone with them. It's such a great company to have, and it makes me so happy that even though probably I will never get to meet them in person, they are somehow with me and I am with them. And it's not as parasocial as people may think. Of course, there are some fans that do that, but to me it's such an emotional and deep connection with them, and I truly feel like they are those friends in another side of the world that I never got to meet them, like, you know, online friends and stuff like that. I truly feel this way with them. And the craziest part is that I know that they are exactly just how they portray themselves, and I would not be afraid at all to meet them because I know they would not disappoint me. Their journey and how they started with nothing and just grew up little by little with their efforts. You could see all their struggles. It's not a common thing to witness. It's not a bad thing if you start in a favorable position, but they were not in that position and they still managed to pull it through. And they are one of the biggest music acts ever, just because of who they are and all the efforts they did, and they let us see them doing that. I feel like they were somehow ahead of their times with this, because that position made them start doing things that were not so present at the moment. They start doing blogs, bangtan bombs, documentals. Like, they kept that connection so real and so close with the fans, and I feel like that made the fandom as loyal as it is. And I think that few artists were doing that on the beginnings of their career. Yeah, of course it could be a burden sometimes to record everything and to have that many content, but at the end of the day I feel like they are so grateful and they're happy, because it's not only their memories, but it's what let us knew them and develop this relationship with them. Personal and emotional side is just as big as the musical and talented side of them. And of course they are humans and they make mistakes and they are wrong sometimes, and that's also part of why we love them, because they are human. I feel like they were able to keep their authenticity and fame did not change them. I feel like one of the reasons that happened is because of their humble beginnings. So you cannot only love them, you also relate to them. You relate to them as human beings, as regular people that, yes, now they are millionaires and they have different types of lives as we do. Their fame does not take away of them as people. Oh God, I'm getting truly so emotional talking about them inside of me, but I'm trying to contain it. There's such a lot of reasons why I love them, but the fact that I can admire them and relate to them and see them as a potential group of friends if I were to meet them in person, because I was from Korea or whatever, I just had that security with them that is so beautiful. And to that extent, I feel it does not happen to me with any other person. Then another thing that's outstanding to me, and I also do not see in other people, like just a few people in the world and musicians, is that they are such a strength group-wise. And the reason why that is because every single one of them has their unique charms and personality, and they complement themselves so well. They're like 7 different identities, and you can relate to all of them somehow in some aspect, or maybe you don't relate to all of them. You can still have someone you feel drawn to and then end up loving all of them. That's why I feel like it's great and it's beautiful that all of them are biased by people, like some of them more, some of them less, but that's just human nature. But Real Army truly loves all of them, and you don't feel like you love some of them less than the others. They are such powerhouses on their own as well as they are as a group. You can see that on their solo projects. I feel like even though they needed a break to grow and do the military service and stuff, we were able to see in their solo projects how different each of them are, how each of them have ways of working and styles and taste on music. They just prove that they can hold themselves as soloists and individuals too. And so imagine like merging those 7 people on a group. I cannot believe that these 7 charming and beautiful people came together, and also talented as hell, because what do you mean? Like, I've never seen in my entire life so many talent placed in just one musical act, or literally one place. Like, it feels like we're just talking about the 100 people that are more talented in the world, and somehow BTS are there. They make their talents bigger when they are together. They create synergy between them. It's such a beautiful thing to see. They are not jealous between them. They love each other so dearly. They feel like a family. Love is a decision, and it has to be really hard to keep this good relationship. 7 people during so many years and in such a hard industry that is the music industry, but they love each other so much that they take so much care of their bond and their music, and like all like the reality that it has to be the seven of them always. You can see the love they have from each other for each other through the screen, and you know it's not fake. Like there's no one there that's not close to another one. Wow, guys, wow, sorry. I mean, if you go to see how they decided to do the military service, instead of just going one by one and a lot of them having a lot of years for their solo careers, for example, Jungkook, who was the younger, no, they chose to do it all of them together, but also putting Jin and Hobie separately so that there would only be 6 months where Army would be alone. And they did that for us, they did that for themselves because they didn't want to miss each other. They wanted to came back as a group and profit as much as they could from their time together, which we hope it's going to be for a lot of years, which is also so amazing. The fact that you can have the security that they're going to be together, because that's how much they loved each other. To me, that military thing was such a proof of their bond and how authentic they are. Of course, we cannot talk about BTS if we do not talk about ARMY. There's a lot of bad things regarding our fandom, and we know that, and from the outside it's really hard to see the good things because sadly toxic behaviors and bad people make a lot of noise. But we can proudly say that we're not only the biggest fan base in the world, but we are also such a powerful fan base. We love and we take care of our artists. We support them in every way possible. As a fandom, we are a collection of people that get things done. We have done fundraising. We donate a lot of money. We learn by example. BTS has taught us really well, and I feel like just like they have synergy between them, BTS and ARMY have synergy, and we make each other better. Of course, as I told you, there's a lot of bad things and exceptions. That's not what I want to focus on. And even though I had such a hard time sometimes with the fandom, at the end of the day, I just realized how many beautiful people there's out there, and how somehow you can see a pattern of passionate, loving, and caring people on the fandom, because that's what BTS attracts. BTS would not exist without ARMY, and of course ARMY would not exist without BTS, and that is such an unbreakable bond. And there's this reality that the fans say, I say, that BTS gets to you when you need them the most. They make you feel seen and understood. You can relate to the songs, and you will need some of their songs in some times of your life. I generally feel that if they made me feel like this when I was already in such a happy place and they made my life much better, I cannot imagine how much this is important for people who were having a bad time, struggling, or maybe they felt lonely. You can feel their company and them understanding you, even though it's in the distance. They are set apart from other artists. They do much more than an artist is supposed to do. And I will never take this for granted. I will never take for granted how is this a world of its own, and nothing can ever compare to how they make feel people. Thank you for making me happy. With all the pureness in that sentence, there's nothing better that you could have done for me than that. Of course, everything is just not by luck. There's a lot of planning and having the proper circumstances and the great moment. I feel like they started growing when social media became a thing, and I think they use it in such a clever way, and their narrative of being these humble guys was such an important branding for them. I feel like they are really clever. They know how to sell themselves, sell the music, and we can have a lot of disagreements with hype, but they did such a great job bringing BTS up. I would love to believe that in any other part of the history of music this would have happened, and I'm sure it would have, maybe in different ways, but it would have, and it will last for the rest of their careers. But we were truly happy to be in the times what we are, that there's a lot of things that they used to spread their words and their messages through social media, and learning how to navigate in this world and how to reinvent themselves. The work ethic they have is amazing, but it was also an incredibly amazing timing for them. That is something that we need to consider too. And what also makes it so special is that they extended their boundaries beyond just music. They became a cultural phenomenon. They are philanthropies. They have done fundraising. They did the UNICEF and Love Yourself campaign. They are voices of Korea, voices for the world. They influence the world in such a positive way. Economics, fashion, language learning, making people aware of some stuff that we just don't know about. Nowadays, they are the perfect combination of a powerhouse on streaming, selling, and everything. They're still the goats today, but they also have these characteristics of a legacy artist, which is crazy to be able to have both things at the same time. And it took a long time, and we still have a long way to go. But I feel that they finally started to be respected by the music industry, and the people are slowly realizing how unique and such a one-time thing on music life they are. And if we look through BTS's career, they have done so many different things, as I was talking first on music, but I feel like somehow their identity is always there. Like even when they did these more funny pop commercial songs, which I love, I have nothing against them, I just don't know why people do not get how important they were, which are Dynamite, Butter, and Permission to Dance, and then for example, Jungkook with his solo, they are still there. It feels them too. The colorful side of Dynamite feels them. The silliness they are having now on the concert with those two songs, it's such a thing. Like they were not lost in the sauce. No, they never lost what they are. And honestly, Ariana is such a perfect example of the balance between who they are, who they have become, who they were, like all their faces. It's really sad when people evolve and they start hating their past music, or when you realize that they have lost who they are because they were following something. They never follow trends, they are the trend. You know what I mean? That's why I think they will never flop, because I trust them with my gut. I trust all the decisions that they do in terms of music and their careers. And imagine in just like 3 years, we will have more solos, we will have more group albums. The universe is going to keep expanding, but we have the mental piece that they will never change. They will always be them. Look at how silly they are nowadays on stage. Look how much fun they're having. Look how their music still feels their music. And people that say that Arirang is not them are just, they have to be oblivious, because you can see their DNA literally in every single song. Seriously, I'm so sorry that I look tired or sad. I'm not. I'm just overwhelmed by emotions. I truly was left speechless after the concert, and it was only on the cinema, so I'm just not ready for what's gonna happen in person. All of these reasons is what BTS is BTS, why they are so loved. Even if people do not understand it, they cannot deny everything that I've just said. They truly deserve what they have. They built it with their blood, sweat, and tears. And now, before leaving, I just want to give a personal note on why I personally love BTS so much, besides all of these things that I have already mentioned, which are the main reasons. At the end of the day, BTS matters to me, not because of the numbers, not because of the data or the records. They matter to me because they made me feel much happier, as I have already said, but it's really astonishing as a human being to see how much love they have. Like, it's such a pride to see those full stadiums, to see the internet and see how many different generational, gender, age, whatever people loves them genuinely so much, and how you don't feel that the love is unidirectional. That's one of the reasons that I love them so much. I truly feel loved and seen by them. And I know they do not know me personally, but I know they would be the kindest to me. They would be the kindest, and I just know we would get along really, really well. I mean, if I started thinking about a weekend with them or just being their friend. Sorry, but that's not the reason. Yeah, understand what I mean. Like, that's not the reason why I love them. But I do feel like it really matters to me how the perception of the people who loves them, it's clean. Of course, there's people who disagrees and agrees with several stuff. That's always gonna happen. Aside the haters, the love that people have for them it's so deep. And I've seen people getting emotional that are not even armies, and understanding and saying that it's completely truth and right to just love them and support them. There's not a single doubt about that. You could tell that I chose BTS because I became a fan somehow recently, even though it's been almost, a year and a half and so. But I don't feel like I chose them. I feel like somehow BTS chose me. Because the thing that happened to me with Spring Day, also Microcosmos and Life Goes On, but especially Spring Day, the fact that I just listened to the song and I started to cry without even knowing what they were telling me, what they were saying. Their music is that beautiful, and of course, not everyone's going to love the music, but for me personally, I knew they were for me when that happened. You start always with the meme that I don't know their names, and then you fall down to the rabbit hole. And I had some turning points of just realizing how much I was loving these guys, how big my love for them was. And I think that that spring day moment was it for me. I was like, they have something on me. They have power in the best way possible on me. I could have not loved BTS. My journey discovering BTS, it's literally top 10 moments that I was the happiest in my life. I treasure those months with such a special sentiment and emotions about it. I was always dying to get home to keep getting to know them, all the music, all the lyrics, all the content. I still have to watch a lot of things, but that's also the beauty of it, that for me, I need to have a lot of things from someone. And the fact that they have that much amount of content, it's also one of the reasons that I love them so much, because they are part of my routine, and it's so exciting to see that we will get more and I still have more to see. And then the typical thing, you spend a lot of years on the fandom and you still find new content, which doesn't make sense. Like, how can there still be things that I have not seen? Really one of the best moments in my life, the most beautiful moment in life, was my discovering BTS era, and I would love to relive all of that again. I just hope that I can make any of my friends fall down to that rabbit hole too, to be able to experience it from outside, because I feel like a lot of people need it. A lot of people need it, and I didn't know that I needed that, but I needed it. And this channel probably would have ended up existing without being an army, just with Taylor and Blackpink. But the reason that started doing when I started is because of BTS. They give me the strength. They gave me a lot of thoughts in my brain that were telling me that I needed to express how much I love music and how much I love my artists, and in this case too, how much I love BTS and how I treasure every single memory that I have with them. And it's only been 1 year and a half, so imagine when it's, because I'm not worried about the fact that I was late, because in 20 years they're still making music, and I would have spent 22 years with them, so then it won't matter. BTS gets to you when you need it. That's what you decide. The date that they appear is when they debuted for us, for me in this case, and I will be eternally grateful to them. They're there, they are there. I will always be surrounded by these beautiful human beings. Wow, that was such a great talk. I don't know if there's anything I need to add. I would love for you to tell me what would you love to see from me in the future with BTS. You know, I will be doing around BTS, but maybe we can do some analytic videos like this one. Once again, someday, life is worth living, guys. I'm seeing BTS, the next concert, you will think of me. I hope I will be there crying my eyes out, and the next day too, and then another night on Paris, and hopefully if the next year they return to Europe, I will be there. I'm gonna spend the rest of the FESTA day as happy as I can. I hope that you enjoyed my video. It was a chill vibe. I feel like this was the perfect present for BTS. If this video ever gets to them, I'm pretty sure they would be so happy. Thank you so much for being here, for supporting me, even when the channel and YouTube maybe are not in their best moment, in their peak moment. I feel so happy doing this video, and I do not regret at all doing this channel. In fact, I feel like I'm so lucky to be doing this and to spreading my BTS love everywhere I can possibly do it. Just like they did. They are my teachers, they are my parents, my brothers, my family, they are everything to me. Thank you so much for staying until the end, for being here with me, and we will see each other soon to keep fanboying and fangirling. Adios! Borahae, I purple you!